Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome. Wholesale Hotline number 98. I am one of your two co-hosts for the day. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. And next to me, the man that does not need an introduction, but I will give him one. It is Pace, Sub 2 Maniac, Wholesale Maniac, buying commercial properties Maniac, Pace Morby. Pace, what's up, man?
Bro, good to see you on here. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks.
I am telling you, listen, with the break, the Christmas break, I haven't worn the uniform here in a couple weeks. I put it on after the gym and I was like, oh, we're going to have a good show tonight. This is it. I was missing it. So for everybody out there, what Pace and I would like to do here off the bat in the beginning here is really break down the three parts to wholesaling real estate, because that's what this show is all about. Wholesale Hotline is designed so that we can come out for the first 15, 20 minutes, give some really good instruction, give some really good thoughts about where the real estate market's going, what is the current climate of wholesaling real estate, how do we find the best deals, how do we get the best leads, how do we convert those, and then how do we make the most out of every single opportunity that comes our way. That is the point of this. So we're going to be breaking down the steps, the 3 steps to wholesaling, which really we're missing the biggest piece, or the best piece, in my opinion. Jamil Damji, he is out today, and he talks about exit strategy, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week. Is that right, Pace?
Yeah, he'll be back. I had a good 45-minute call with him today. It's not COVID or anything serious. He just has been under the weather with the winter blues, basically like cold, cough, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So let me dive right in here. And I think that this is going to open up a lot of questions, because that's the point of this, guys. The first 15, 20 minutes, we give instruction. We talk about the climate of wholesaling real estate, and then it opens it up. This show really is for you guys to answer any questions or get some support and get some love. But also, don't forget that in the comments here, as we are going live, we want you to post where you're from, where you're doing business, so that you can squad up with people that have a similar brain to your own. I am telling you, this is the key. This is the key to being successful as a real estate investor, is be around other successful real estate investors. It is absolutely, that's why we do this as a team. That's why Pace, Jamil, and I do this together every single Monday, is to show what squatting up really can do, and have you guys make sure that you guys are squatting up in the section, in the comments section. So make sure we do that. And thank you, my Brittany. My camera quality is looking good. So let me go to the board, if you don't mind, Pace.
Yeah, I would love to. Can I would just want to say a couple things real quick.
Go for it.
I'm currently learning how to fly an airplane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that important? It's important because as I'm going through and taking these lessons, I realize how basic things really need to be fed to us.
Yep.
And I remember a conversation I had with Tom Kroll, Brent Daniels, 2 years and 2 months ago, about if you can't teach a third grader what you're talking about, then you don't know it well enough.
That's right.
And man, you don't really pay attention to those things. You're like, it sounds cool, right? But then you get up into a little airplane, your second lesson, and your pilot instructor says, all right, I want you to radio the tower. I want you to tell them your call sign, what runway you're leading up to. I want you to tell them what your maneuver you're going to say, at what speed, blah, 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 blah. And I have not felt that nervous since I had to call my first seller and ever have a conversation with them.
Yep.
And it jolted me back all the way back to when I was just learning. And I'm so grateful for that educator, the guy that I'm currently paying right now to be my pilot, because he's so patient with me. And then I remember I have to sometimes hear some of this stuff 5, 6, 7 times on what this mechanism does and what this does and what the yoke is and why it's not called a steering wheel. It's the same thing with wholesaling real estate, guys.
Yep.
There's a lot of terms that myself, Jamil, and Brent use day in and day out. And we've found in the last 3 or 4 months, there are so many new watchers of Wholesale Hotline, and we want to say thank you so much for that. But today's episode, we want to go back through the basics, and we want to really start doing that for the next couple of months, because we know what it was like when we didn't know what an assignment contract is. And I can guarantee you there's somebody in the live audience right now that does not know what an assignment contract is. I remember when I didn't know what a wholesale purchase agreement looked like.
Yep.
I didn't know where to find buyers. I didn't know how much to charge for an assignment fee. I didn't know the first line to say to a seller. And so Brent had a wonderful idea of starting all over brand new. So guys, please, even the people that are doing 10 deals a month, I know a lot of my students are in the side chat. Brent Daniels, TTP students are in the side chat talking about, hey, let's link up. Guys, don't sleep on these relationships. You've got a lot of people in the side chat that are doing 5, 10, some of them doing 15 deals a month. Wholesale Hotline is not only a great place to learn, it is a wonderful place to network with like-minded people. And that is what we call squadding up. So create a squad, develop relationships. People outside of this live stream are going to reach out and want to do deals with you. So make sure that as you're learning this information, we're going to go back to the basics today and for the next couple of months. Make sure you are writing down people's names, their cities, and how to contact them after the show. And the last thing I'm going to say, because Brent's going to run this show today, I'm going to kind of encourage and ask questions throughout the deal. Please do us a favor. Please. We've been doing this for 98 weeks in a row. 98 weeks in a row. We're almost on episode 100. Please do us a favor. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channels, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys know when we go live, obviously. But more important there, please do us a favor. I love Instagram. It's how I communicate with most people. Take a screenshot at some point during the show and tag Brent, tag Pace, tag Jamil. And if you know how to use Instagram, on Instagram stories, type the one thing you learned today. Type the one thing you learned today, a word, a phrase, a line, something, a tactic, and do us that favor. We want to get better at what we're doing here. We want to bring higher level education to you guys and information to you guys time in and time out. We need your help for that. So Brent, let's get back to basics, brother.
And just on that note, real quick, a little housekeeping, guys. Pace, Jamil, and I met. We talked. We've been talking the last couple months about really doing something special with the Wholesale Hotline podcast. Guys, if you have not gotten in there and subscribed, and if you're getting value out of it, make sure that you give us the 5 stars or whatever the ranking is on Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is. Make sure that you get in there and subscribe. We're going to be coming out with episodes of unbelievable podcast content every single day of the week. So make sure that you get in there and subscribe and really start putting that into your brain, because it is absolutely critical. I will tell you one fundamental thing that I learned over this break is if there's music going on in my car, there is like my mind is somewhere different. When there is podcast and Audible going on in my car, I am sharp. I am quicker. My vocabulary is smoother. It's silkier. It's better. The thoughts in my head are stronger. I feel confident. I want to be like I'm filled with electricity when I have really great things coming into my brain. And that starts with the podcast. That is our intention with the podcast. We literally hired the best podcast guy in the planet right here, Aaron. And it's going to be absolutely incredible. So will make sure that you guys get in there. Now let's look at this. There are 3 steps. There are 3 steps to a wholesale deal, to a wholesale business, to a real estate investing business. But because this is Wholesale Hotline, let's keep it very specific. The first step is lead generation. This is the engine of your business. If your business is a train, this is the engine that's going to start the momentum. It's going to start getting you down the tracks. Without leads, you have no business. Let me say that again. Without leads, you have no business. There's only 3 ways to find leads, to generate leads. All right, let's look at the board here. Can we switch it? You got the mic going? Right here, 3 steps. Step 1, lead generation right here. The first one, obviously, marketing. These are your mail. This is pay-per-click. This is bandit signs. This is anybody that you have to pay. You are paying money for them to call you. You're paying money to have a conversation with a property owner. That's marketing. This is very common. This is where people usually go to. This is where people that aren't really comfortable or don't really have a schedule to be able to be super, super proactive. This is the way that you start building up your pipeline of opportunities. It starts with marketing. You have to pay for people to call you. All right. The second way is referrals. This is where you build up a network. This is Jamil's whole business model, not whole, but a big chunk of his business model is getting referrals from real estate agents, from family and friends, from other investors.
One of our best referring partners is in today's live stream. His name is Rylas Dana. He's a probate attorney, guys.
Perfect.
So if you guys, you'll see Rylas Dana right in the side chat. He's an advocate of the show, amazing guy, probate attorney. I've probably made $2-3 million from referrals just from probate attorneys. Referrals.
This is with the referrals. You are going out there and you're building up your network so that they are bringing you those conversations. These are so powerful. As we build our business, it starts going from 90% getting business from marketing and prospecting to about 50-50 to try to get it to 80-20, where referrals are the source of your lead generation. That's where you should be going over a 5-10 year period. Maybe a little bit fast, but typically you have to build up a good reputation. Would you agree with that, Pace? It takes a bit.
It takes a long time. And we're talking about referrals.
Yeah.
The challenge with the referrals too is you wrote the word wait.
Yep.
Which I really, really love. And what I liked about that is that it's inconsistent. Okay, you're going to sit there and wait for referrals because you can't control, if it's a realtor's business, you can't control their pipeline.
Right.
And so what you're doing is you're waiting for their pipeline to be full in order for you to have an opportunity. Whereas marketing on number 1, what I like about marketing, we also call this direct to seller. You're going directly to the seller through some form of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That is your own personal pipeline. And that is the only controllable lead source in that is I can turn it on today and I can get a lead today. In fact, I could get a lead in less than 30 minutes is how fast marketing is nowadays. With a referral, you make way more money and it's way more fun, but it also takes a lot more time and consistency.
That's right. And then you got prospecting. You got 2 main forms. You got door knocking and you got cold calling. You got picking up the phone. Now, listen, door knocking sometimes, depending on where you live, is seasonal, right? It's tough to do it in the snow. It really is. So you have to have a couple different things working for you. And I would lump, and Pace, let me know your thoughts on this. I would lump prospecting. I would lump text blasting in with prospecting. Now you are paying a little bit to 3 cents to get a message into a property owner's inbox, but I feel like it's more proactive than just sending out a bunch of marketing and hoping that people call you back. What do you think?
Yeah, text messaging is interactive, right? It goes back and forth.
Right.
And so yeah, it's prospecting for sure.
I would put text, door knocking, and cold calling right here. We'll just put a TTP. There you go. TTP here. That's prospecting. This is you going out and earning it. This is where you have to start. If you have a low budget, this is where you have to start. I mean, these two, of course, you can talk to everybody. You can post and get really loud on social media and let people know that you're looking for ugly properties that you can do something special with and get some referrals off the bat. But usually it takes a little bit of time. The prospecting, if you have a low budget, this is where you start. You have to go to the door or you have to pick up the phone and call them and have a quality conversation or text them and get them on the phone either way. Okay, there's your options, guys. Keep it very simple. What do you want to do? How do you want to run your business? Do you have a marketing budget to be able to go after and really replace your income, right? To really get you more control of your life, which means your time, which means that you can do more, you can put more into your business. You can put more hours, more effort into your business, more focus onto your business than you do making somebody else rich, which is having a job, right?
So a couple questions about this on marketing.
Yes.
Okay. So I get a lot of DMs from people that send me screenshots of like Zillow things, and they call those leads. They go, hey, I've got a lead. How much should I offer this person?
Yep.
When somebody tells me that, here's a couple of things I know already. One, they've never spoken to the seller.
That's it. That's not a lead.
That's not a lead. So it's not a lead. You've never spoken to the seller and you don't even know what the exit strategy is. You just see a house on Zillow. Now, why, Brent? And I'm not saying going on Zillow is a horrible prospecting model. It just tells me a lot about that individual. It tells me they probably don't have any money.
Yes.
Or they haven't watched any of Brent Daniels' training, my training, et cetera.
Right.
And they're brand new and the only thing they know is Zillow.
Yeah.
It also tells me they're not a licensed realtor, because why would you go on Zillow to look for things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can ascertain a whole bunch of information just from that DM. So let me ask you this question, Brent.
Yep.
If I go on Zillow and I think that's a lead, what would you say to me immediately? Like, let's say, Brent, I send you a screenshot. Hey, Brent, I got a house on 222 Banana Street.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this would be a really great opportunity. How much should I offer this seller? What are you going to say to me?
Well, it depends. The attorney response. Okay. It depends on if it's a for sale by owner or if it's on the market. If it's on the market, you're going to have a lot of competition if it's truly a deal. If it hits Zillow, that means that it's usually linked to an MLS, a multiple listing service, which means that an agent listed that property. If they listed it under market and everybody sees it, there's going to be multiple offers. So you have to talk to the agent and see how many offers they have. Now, if it's been on the market for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's no offers and it seems like it's a deal, it's not a deal. It's not a deal. Everybody has seen it. You're going to have to get that way discounted. Whatever you have there, if the property is over $250,000, I would offer 66%. If it's between $100,000 and $250,000, I would offer 50%. And if it's under $100,000, I would offer 25%. Go ahead, Pace.
So on that, I want to highlight a couple of things, because this does happen all the time. And what I'm hoping to do is next time somebody sends me this in my Instagram DMs, I'm going to send them a link to this YouTube video and say, please watch this. Number one, you don't have a deal. You have a seller who is interested in selling. It doesn't mean you have a seller who is motivated in selling at a discounted price. Okay. This is Wholesale Hotline. Okay, we're not talking about creative finance here where you can pay full price. Creative finance is talked about on Sunday service. By the way, we had 600 live viewers last night for Sunday service. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. But we're not going to talk about creative finance. So as Brent writes this out on the screen, you're going to see exactly what you're going to have to offer to this seller who has their house listed on Zillow. And you're going to say, what? I'm going to have to offer them 50% of the value of their property? And you will then know why I deviated and went to this question, is because people listed on Zillow or listed on the market are not motivated sellers.
Yeah.
Typically, 99% of the time, they are not motivated sellers. So why don't you go through your diagram, Brent?
No. And that's the point, Pace. I mean, you hit it perfect. For a wholesale deal, you need two things. You need motivation and equity. That's what you need for typically. Now, there's some, obviously you can do a sub 2 and wholesale sub 2 or a wholesale creative finance deal.
Yeah, we can do that on Sunday service.
Right. But for the most part, if you want to get big checks, big chunks in so that you can replace your income, so that you can pay off debts, so that you can start buying some assets that's going to give you the cash flow that you want. I mean, everybody's looking to wholesale so that you can, one, do it full time, and two, so that you can build up a big portfolio of properties that you're building wealth on and getting passive cash flow. That's the goal that we all have. We've all read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We've all read Think and Grow Rich. We've done these things, and this is how you get there. If it's at 250, offer them 66% of the after repaired value. Once it's fixed up, 100 to 250,000, 49, whatever, 50%, 100,000 and below 25%. That'll put you in a good position. All right.
Okay, so let's go through that just real quick, because I want to make sure we want to be like on the same page here. Let's go through. I'm going to pull up Zillow just real quick.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to pull up some houses because this is what I imagine people are doing.
Yep.
Let's see. Let me do a little screen share if you don't mind, and we will share this and go right on Zillow. Go. So here I am on Zillow. Let's just go to current location. Let's let Zillow have my location. There's my house. I'm right here at my own house.
There you are.
Ooh, who's selling? Who's selling? What's going on here? Okay, so got some ballers around me, dude. People with $3, $4, $5 million homes, love it. So all these red houses are listed properties. Okay.
Yep.
These are houses for sale. So what happens a lot of times is people will go on Zillow. This is somebody who is inexperienced in real estate deal finding, and they'll come in here and they'll go, okay, I found a house on Zillow, and they pull it up and they see it's for sale. And they go, oh, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. Okay. $490,000. It's listed on the market. You can go through here and kind of find out how long it's been listed and all that kind of stuff, but we're not going to go through that today.
Right.
Brent.
Yeah.
I have a house. It's $490,000.
Yep.
What should I have bought that for on a wholesale deal in order for this deal to be a deal?
I would offer up to $323,000.
And where did you come up with that number?
66% of that.
66% of that. Okay. So we're answering this question once and for all. By the way, no successful wholesaler does what I just did.
Right.
I just want to be very clear with you. If you are going on Zillow and finding listed properties and you're going after them and just offering 66% of their value, you will be laughed at. You will be ridiculed. You will be hung up on. It is not a good look for you. Okay. And why is that? Brent just told you the number one thing out of the two things you need in order to get a wholesale deal is motivation.
Motivation. What is the problem?
What is the problem? I did a 3-hour Zoom today. Okay. I'm training my transaction coordinator on sub 2 transactions, wholesale transactions, etc. And I actually brought the seller onto the Zoom with me, and we walked through the paperwork. And my my transaction coordinator was like, wow, that seller had a lot of pain that we solved. Divorce, foreclosure, business shutdown. All of these multiple things happen to their business, to their life. They are in a catastrophic situation, and our job is to solve that problem. That literally happened today.
Yeah.
So if somebody has a house listed on Zillow, Brent, where's my sign of motivation? Is there any sign of motivation if it's listed on Zillow or on the MLS?
Listen, I get it. You know, when we get excited about this business, the first place we go is the most common place. If we're not licensed, then we go to Zillow and we start looking around. We start going, okay, what are the ugliest deals? What are the ugliest properties that I can find here so that I can try to go after and put an offer into the agent that has it listed? Because it's an agent that has it listed most of the time. Sometimes it's for sale by owner, but for the most part, it's going to be listed by an agent. And then what you do is you pick up the phone, you call the agent to get the scoop, right? You still have to pre-qualify. You still have to get an idea of what's going on. And the agent tells you, oh, you're the 50th call that I have. I already have 15 offers on the deal, right? This is common. This is
Right.
really, really, really common. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that didn't work. And back to the old grindstone. When you could walk out your front door, get in your car, drive down the street, and find an unlimited amount of properties that are not listed, that are in bad shape, that look rough, that you could literally in an instant with the right app be able to push a button, get the owner's information, see how much equity they have in the property, and get their phone number where you could call them up and you could simply ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. That's what really happens. It is not being on the internet hiding behind a keyboard. It is not being the smartest guy in the room and trying to figure out the algorithm on Zillow and comping all these deals and looking to see which ones are, discounted or not. No, it's going and finding an ugly house and getting a big ass check.
Right.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Keep it
So
really, really simple.
you're leading right into this amazing comment by Brittany Berryman, one of super smart gal, amazing leader in Jamil's community. And there are people that specialize in getting deals on the MLS.
Yep.
But I can tell you, if you put a room full of 100 successful wholesalers in one room, I would die trying to find 2 of them that are successfully finding only deals on the MLS.
Yep.
Okay. And so, Brittany, I love that you're doing it, and it doesn't mean it's not possible. And I love the fact that she added the caveat of, hey, as long as the property has been listed for more than 45 days.
Yep.
And what does that tell you? That tells you that they've overpriced the property, and they probably have had the market, right? The current buyer pool tell them multiple times, that's not a deal at your price.
Yep.
And they've heard this so many times by other potential buyers that they're going to be way more massageable after the 45-day mark. And so, can you reach out to listing? Yes, you can. But here's the challenge with that. You're no longer talking to the seller. You are talking to an agent. Okay. And so this is a whole nother strategy. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. It just means that it's a niche strategy that you have to now learn how to negotiate with agents who want their commission and will also fight you to the death. Okay.
Yep.
We do deals with agents probably 1 to 3 a month. Not a lot. They are always our smallest checks. Okay. Our biggest checks are when we find an ugly ass house, a seller with a bunch of motivation, and we just keep it simple.
That's it. I mean, listen, the off market, if it's on the market, that means competition. Okay. If there's competition, then your margins get squeezed. You can find amazing deals off of the MLS as long as they're, within a certain criteria. They've been on the market for a while. And oh, by the way, you still have to negotiate a really killer price. You can't just give them what they want on the market after 45 days. You have to negotiate that and find buyers for it, or somebody else would have bought it. Okay. And this is, listen, we're trying to lay the foundation here so that you can go after off-market deals to get bigger opportunities. Okay. Because if you learn the skill and then take that skill and mold it into a machine, and that machine becomes your wholesaling business, and you're able to use that business to source off-market opportunities anywhere in the country for the next 50 years or 100 years, or as long as you want to do it and your family wants to do it, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about building a foundation of finding the biggest and best deals. It is not going to be when it's listed to everybody on the market. I'm just telling you, you're not going to get the biggest discounts that way.
I want to hit on that just one last time, because I don't want Brittany Berryman to think that I'm critiquing that strategy. In fact, it's a super great strategy. However, it's not for somebody. You'll see in the side comments that we've already confused people.
Yeah.
Okay. So remember, Brittany Berryman, the reason we don't talk about doing on-market deals and going direct, going through agents in 45 days, you're now adding extra layers of education for people that are just trying to get their first deal. Okay. So by no means do we not think that strategy, is, a negative strategy. It just means keep it simple. If you're just trying to go get a deal, let's keep it so absolutely simple. Find a distressed homeowner, Okay. By either seeing a visually distressed property
Mhm.
or find a distressed seller from a distressed or motivation list, right? Foreclosure is probably our favorite list. These people have a ticking time bomb. They're dealing with potentially losing their house. I can pull a foreclosure list off of, we use batchleads.io/wholesale hotline. That's what we use. We've done actual walkthroughs of exactly how to pull pre-foreclosures. We pull pre-foreclosures, guys. People that are going through foreclosure, call them up. That would be called prospecting.
Yep.
Right? Knocking their door, that would be called prospecting. Right? There you go. You find a list. So lead generation, you go out and you market them. You can send them mail. The problem with mail on pre-foreclosures is sometimes you don't have enough time for them to get the mail.
Well, and they get an unlimited amount of mail.
Right. So calling them, door knocking them, texting them is a better way to just get directly to that seller. So find the motivation, find an ugly house that needs your help, and get it under contract. Let's keep it super simple.
That's it. That's it. I mean, listen, that's how you start building this thing up. That's how you start finding these opportunities. And if you do want to get deals off the MLS, you better be trained or they will eat you alive. You better be trained. That's all I got to say. All right, here we go. Let's move on. So 3 steps, lead generation. There you go. You can market for it, get referrals, or you can prospect. All right. It's all right there. That's how you find your opportunities. Even if you're going off the MLS, you're still got to call up a real estate agent, work it. That's prospecting. Boom. It fits all of them. Let's go to step number 2. Step number 2, conversion. Conversion breaks down into 3 parts. First, you have to pre-qualify. You need to pre-qualify every single property owner every single time based on 4 things: the condition of the property, their timeline to sell that property, their motivation or their problem, and the price. You get those 4 things, you win. Every conversation, if you're like, I don't know what to say to a property owner, I'm so nervous, I don't know, I just start talking about all sorts of different things and it never gets anywhere. If you use those 4 things to be the scaffolding, to be the skeleton of your conversation, you are going to be more comfortable talking to any property owner. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Well, they're not giving me those. They're not telling me those. That tells you something about their motivation. That tells you something about where they're at. I would rather you disqualify somebody in this process than get all excited, jump in your car, go over there, drive over there, spend 2 hours building rapport with them, and they don't want to sell their property for another 5 years, or they want double what it's worth. Or they tell you, you could just knock down this house and build a skyscraper. This happens every single day. Am I right, Pace?
All the time.
All the time. Pre-qualify, condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. Condition, timeline, motivation, price. All of that, if you guys want it, ttpinsider.com. All right, by the way, Pace, what is the tool that I mentioned that you can just drive around and it's an app on your phone that shows you all those great things about distressed property owners?
Batchdriven.com/wholesale hotline. Batchdriven.com/wholesale hotline.
There you go. It's all built for you guys. This is 2022. Like, you've got all the tools. Pre-qualify. Next is lead follow-up. 70% of the deals that you get, maybe higher, is going to be from lead follow-up. Lead follow-up. Constantly getting in front of them. You're getting ghosted. You're sending texts. They don't respond. You're making calls. They don't answer. That's fine. Plant the seed. Plant the seed. Plant the seed. Plant the seed. To be honest with them. Be like, listen, I don't want to bug you anymore. So if you could give me a call back either way, if you decided to do something else with the property, that's fine. I just don't want to keep bugging you. Lead follow-up, lead follow-up, lead follow-up. Just get in front of them, plant seeds. It usually takes 20 to 40 seconds on average to do lead follow-up.
This is an interesting conversation because we just got a contract the other day after 100 on the nose follow-ups.
Yep.
100 follow-ups. That's pretty rare. Our KPI is this: 70% of our contracts come from 13 follow-ups.
Yep.
That's our KPI inside of our CRM. So the CRM, guys, just so you know, is a customer relationship manager. It helps us do all of our follow-up and know when to call the seller, notes about the seller, how many cats the seller has, like everything that we need to know about that seller is inside of our CRM.
Yep.
So when our guys, our acquisition managers come into work for the day, they put their headsets on, they open up the CRM. The CRM tells them exactly who to call and at what time based on weeks ago, months ago, notes that our team left. Those now are popping up and populating for our team to call. The team pulls up and goes, oh, Diana Smith. I'm supposed to call Diana Smith today. That's amazing. I forgot about her. How many cats does she? Okay, she has 7 cats. I remember. Hey, Diana, it's Pace. How are those 7 cats doing? I haven't talked to you in a couple of weeks, right?
Yep.
Follow up. So 70% of our contracts, 70% of the houses we get under contract require 13 of those follow-up calls. That's our KPI. Brent's KPI, or key performance indicator. KPI basically just means something you can measure inside of your business. So the thing that I can measure in my business is I know that if my team says, well, I've called the seller 8 times, I already know they haven't called that seller enough.
Yep.
We know that 13 is 70% of the time is what we need, right?
Pace,
So
why do you think people are scared of follow-up?
because they're always afraid. I run into this all the time. They're always afraid of bothering somebody.
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
And
they're afraid. They're afraid that they're going to bug them.
Yep.
And they're afraid once they get a hold of them, they're going to tell them that they don't want to sell anymore.
Yeah.
And then all that good, warm feeling that you have about this lead that you've been holding on to. Oh, I love this lead. I'm not even going to call her. I love her so much. She doesn't want to sell yet. I'll call when it's ready. I'll call
her in 3 years
when she's ready. Come on.
Yeah, we call that one-itis. So what happens is a lot of people will ask us for advice and they'll say, hey, so I've got this one lead that I've been working on for 3 months. And I'll go, okay, 1 out of like 500 leads that you've got going on, or 1? They're like, oh, well, no, just 1. I'm just wondering. I've been going on like Jamil's show, straight out of Compton. I've been going on YouTube and I've been trying to figure out what I should offer this person. I'm like, you've been trying to figure out for 3 months how to call the person the first time? We get that a lot. Then you get people that are like, the seller said they're interested. When do I follow up? Or they'll say stuff like, I'm waiting for the seller to call me when they're ready.
Yep.
Guys, that seller, this is what's funny, that seller, and I almost want to bring Matt Beard, my partner, on to walk through the follow-up in the CRM and just show you, like, here's where the lead started. Here's how long the average call was. Here's how many times they actually answered. They only answered the call 4 times out of 100 phone calls.
That's right.
4 times.
Well, the other thing, Pace, I don't want this person to tell me no, or tell me that they don't want to sell anymore, because it feels good to have a nice pipeline of opportunities.
Oh,
and then on the flip side, it's the oh shit moment. Oh, they do want to sell.
What do I do?
Oh, they do want me to come to their house. Oh, I don't know.
Bro, it's the same thing in high school when you had a cute girl walking down the hall. You didn't want to talk to her. 1, because you were afraid she'd say yes. Or B, you didn't have the confidence in yourself, right? So you didn't want to bother her. You don't want to bother her. But it was more fun to have a total like infatuation with that person and draw doodles of her on your paper and like be in love with somebody that doesn't even know you exist. Like, that's fun and romantic. But then they might say no, so I'm not going to talk to them. But what if they say yes and they say, come over, let's have dinner at my house?
Yep.
What do you do then?
Yep.
And then you grow older and you always look back on that one person. You go to your high school reunion, you go up to them and say, hey, you remember me? I'm Pace. And they'll say, excuse me, what did you say your name was?
That's it. Well, and I'm telling you, listen, I mean, when it's exciting. It makes your guts kind of watery. You know what I mean? You're kind of like, oh my gosh, okay, this is real. We're dancing now. We're going to this thing. I'm going to go on this appointment. I'm going to meet these people face to face. I really hope I know how to fill out this paperwork. I really hope that they like me. I hope that I dress well enough. I hope they don't see my car because it's terrible. I mean, I've been through all this. I mean, I had that terrible car that was dented by a random hailstorm and was all terrible and we had pieced together and taped together and all that.
2010?
Yeah, 2010. Yeah.
Dude, everybody got
yeah,
smashed
exactly.
with that thing.
2011, it was rough. But then you realize, listen, once you go and you go to the offer presentation, if you go with these two things, you win. Certainty and likability. That's what is key for your offer presentation. Certainty and likability. Go there with incredible empathy. Go there with an incredible ear to listen to what's going on with them. Go there with a solution to their problem. Go there with an open book to see if a cash as is offer is the best solution for them, or if they should list it with a real estate agent, or if they should keep it and try to clean it up, or they should sell it to their kids that want to buy it. Whatever it is, do what's best for that property owner. But you will find miraculously that these properties that are in rough shape, that the owner does not have the financial capabilities to be able to renovate and update, that their best option, their best solution is a cash as is offer. I just want to get rid of it. I will trade potential equity in my property for speed and convenience. That is a fact. It happens, what, 1,000 times a day, Pace? I mean, it's unbelievable.
We
right?
have found, so we know the data. Okay, the data is that there are 147,000 trackable wholesale contracts sold every single day, or I'm sorry, every single month across the nation.
How many?
147,000 trackable wholesale contracts per month.
Can you write that down? That's incredible.
140. And where do I find this data? I found this data because we own part of a title company. And when we have quarterly reports and quarterly meetings, we look at all the data of all the title companies of where we should spend our more of our time. Hey, should we spend more time catering to investors or catering to realtors? These conversations are happening all the time inside of title companies.
Yep.
Well, they can't make a good educated decision without that data. So we found out 147,000 wholesale contracts are sold every single month in the United States that are traceable. Okay, that does not include double assignments. That doesn't include any daisy chaining or JVing. That's just wholesaler sells it to a cash buyer. 147,000 transactions. Divide that by 50 real quick. I want to know how many per state on average.
Look at this though, Pace, because that's 1.7 million deals a year that we know about. 1.7 million. All right. How many full-time wholesalers do you think there are in the country, Pace? Honestly,
I'm going to take a guess.
Let's go high.
I'm going to take a guess that there's 100,000.
Okay. So that's 17 deals each, right?
17 deals each. Yeah.
And that is average deal size. What do you think?
15 grand.
Okay. So 17 deals at 15 grand. It's 255,000 each person.
Pretty impressive, huh?
There is that, and that's just what we know of. I mean, I'm telling you right now that we're not even close. And remember, Pace, there's over 12 million vacant homes that have been vacant over a year in the United States based on the 2020 census.
We would have to sit and we would have to not allow another vacant property to hit the market. And it would take us 6 or 7 years of 1.7 million transactions to get all the way through those.
Right. Without any other ones going vacant.
Exactly, dude.
Right,
exactly.
Let's move on to the last part here.
Real quick. I want to answer this question on the pre-foreclosure real quick, guys.
Yep.
Dominican Gamer says, Pace, talking about the type of list to pull, is pre-foreclosure list better than free and clear? Let me ask you guys a question. Name a better list ever. There is none than foreclosure. And I'll tell you why that's my personal opinion. One, they have a time frame associated with their foreclosure. They have an impending foreclosure. There's nothing they can do to stop that foreclosure other than file bankruptcy, which is a major move, or B, come up with all the money to get rid of how late they are in their payments.
Yep.
Foreclosures are fully back. We are getting foreclosure deal. I bought a sub 2 deal today in Arlington, Texas, $700,000 home, sub 2, because of foreclosure. Foreclosures are back. That means people are losing their homes again. Those regulations are gone. If somebody owns their house free and clear, do you think they have a time frame to sell? Are they worried about selling next week, next month, next 6 months? Versus the person that has been told and an actual document has been taped to their garage door or their front door that says the sheriff is coming to take your property, and made sure that your entire neighborhood knows that you're also in foreclosure. That is pain and motivation.
Yep.
Now, are there deals in a free and clear list of sellers? The answer is yes, absolutely. But if you're somebody trying to get your first deal and you want to get a deal right now, like today, tomorrow, I would suggest go after foreclosures. Now, last thing I'll say before I get Brent back to this amazing presentation, because I think it's a great breakdown of what wholesale really, this 3 steps. On Sunday, what I told, because I have a lot of people that have come from the Bigger Pockets podcast I did in November, of like come into my world, and they're all showing up to the Sunday service podcast on Sundays. I told them that I want to incentivize them to squad up with my students, TTP students, Jamil students. So I'm going to buy a $1,000. I'm going to pay $1,000 on a foreclosure list with my money, and I'm going to give it to the audience if they squad up with each other. So they have to get it from each other. It's going to be like a crowdsourced list. I'm going to spend $1,000 to get that list. That's like 5 states worth of foreclosure data per month. Okay. 5 full states. So I'll show you guys what we're going to do is we're actually going to show you guys how to pull a foreclosure list. It literally takes 3 minutes, and I'll show you how to get the information, and I will share it with the audience live on Sunday service this coming Sunday. Okay.
Look at Jerry Norton popping in here.
Oh, is Jerry in here? I was on the phone with him today for like 40 minutes. I freaking love him. He's going to be driving the Prius around all day long, or all week long this week.
Nice. All right.
Now, what we should do in the future, probably in the next couple of weeks, couple of months, we should have Jerry Norton come on here and talk about getting deals on market on the MLS, because that's what he specializes in, or likes to talk about a lot today. But let's get back to your presentation, Brent.
Okay. Step 3. So here's the thing. With that offer presentation, right? Pre-qualify, lead follow-up, offer presentation, certainty and likability. Guys, burn it into your brains. Certainty and likability. You go with those 2 things, you can have a great conversation. Because remember, you've already pre-qualified. You know the condition, timeline, motivation, mostly the price, sometimes the price. You've done a lot of ridiculous follow-up. You have been relentless with your follow-up, and now is your shot. This is game day. Your offer appointment, your offer presentation is game day, whether that be virtual or whether that be face-to-face. This is where things happen. This is where you actually get a commitment from an actual property owner on an actual property. This is super, super exciting. You've done all the work. You've made all the calls. You've pre-qualified them. You've followed up with them. And now the offer presentation, make sure that you're getting advanced agreements before you go out on that appointment, right? Pace, before I come out tomorrow, if the price is good and the terms are fine and you want to work with me, is there anything stopping you from signing the agreement when I come over tomorrow? Right? And Pace could say no. Pace could say yes. Pace could tell all these other things. At least you know before you go on that appointment what the objections are. You have to get advanced agreements. You have to ask them the question: is there anything stopping us from doing business and putting together the purchase agreement tomorrow when I come over at 1:00?
Yeah, Brent and I learned this the wrong way. Which means that nobody was out there on YouTube and blowing this up when we were learning. Now, Jerry Norton was like probably the best and first guy on YouTube that really started crushing it, him and Sean Terry.
Yep.
But the thing is, when we went on our first appointments talking to sellers, we would just go to any old appointment.
Yep.
We had to learn the hard way, right? And you learn the hard way by going out there and wasting your time that they weren't even serious about selling the property.
Yeah.
So guys, we're saving you a tremendous amount of time. The way I usually say it is very similar to Brent, but I'll typically use a third party, whether they exist or they don't. What I'll do is I'll say, hey, Mr. Seller, or I'll say, hey, Brent, so tomorrow I've got like 7 appointments. I'm actually going to move a couple of them to the side to make sure I come and meet with you and make time for you. If I move those other appointments to the side and postpone them, are you ready to move forward, or should I just keep those other appointments in place? And what I just did is I added credibility.
Yeah.
Right. I added credibility that I have other appointments. Other people are meeting with me. I'm a busy guy. I'm a popular, busy guy. And so they'll say, oh, no. Yeah, come meet. I want to talk about the property. Okay, perfect. If I move these appointments over, is there anything that would keep you from moving forward with an agreement that we could strike a good price on for both parties? Oh, no? Okay, perfect. Awesome. Because these other people are facing foreclosure. I think they're okay if I push them back 10, 15 days, but I just want to make sure that if I do, you and I are ready to move forward. All right, perfect. I'll see you tomorrow.
Advance agreement.
Advance agreement.
Guys, play around with it. Write a few down. If what I say makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident working with me, is there anything stopping us from moving forward and putting together the agreement? Any of these things, play around with it. Use your personality, use who you are. You know what I mean? Try things out, make it feel like authentic, make it feel like you. Don't make it me, don't make it Pace, make it you. Whatever you say. Hey, when I come out, are you ready to sign a purchase agreement with me? You know what I mean? Like, try it out, start from there and then build on it. You know what I mean? Just don't go out blindly without knowing the objections. If they're like, no, I have to pray about it. No, I have to talk to my husband about it. No, I have to put it in front of my attorney. Don't you think that having more information is better? Always, always. There you go. Awesome, guys. So there's your offer presentation. You go there, take the pictures, do the whole thing. TTP Insider, guys, if you want like a breakdown of the perfect offer presentation, you can check that out. All right. Here we go. The last part, exit strategy. This is for all real estate, right? This is real estate investing. All this is all 3 steps to being a real estate investor. It's all the same. We're just putting it towards wholesaling in this show. Exit strategy right here. What are you going to do? You're going to wholesale it, which means that you're going to assign it. You're going to assign your rights to that property to purchase that property, right? You've got a contract, and that contract, some people will pay you to give them your contract. That's what assignment is. That's what a traditional wholesale deal is. Number 2 is, are you going to flip it? Are you going to actually buy it? Are you going to close on this deal? I don't care if this is a double escrow, a double close, or if it's just a traditional, I'm going to buy it, clean it up, and sell it. It's a flip. Or are you going to hold it? These are your 3 options. They fall in here somewhere. Whatever strategy you have falls in here somewhere. You're either going to sign it, you're going to flip it, or you're going to hold it. And then you decide what you want to do. But if you're on here because you want to do your first wholesale deal, you want to build a wholesaling business, focus on this. Focus on this. And I will tell you right now, that is my word for the year, Pace. All right. Last year was get loud. This year is focus. And let me hit you with this because you are the creative guy. Can we split screen this so that we're both the same side? Here we go. So let me ask you this, Pace, because this is I have seen this be one of the biggest challenges that people face as they're getting started. Is there's so many different ways to make income in this business. There's so many different strategies. There's so many different ways to do this. But I will tell you this, and Pace, just you could totally destroy it. You could totally agree, whatever you want to do. This isn't prepared between Pace and I, but I truly believe if you are looking to wholesale real estate, if you are looking to get out of your 9-to-5 and replace your income with real estate, you need to focus on ugly houses and big checks. And that's it for the next year. I don't want you building your portfolio. I don't want you doing any kind of creative. I don't want you flipping properties. I don't want you to do any of it. I just want you to find ugly properties and get big checks and build that foundation of sourcing discounted properties. Now, you will not have all of the tools in your toolbox. You will not be able to go in and pull out any kind of different strategy for every single property owner and win all the time. But I will tell you this, you will have more money in your account than you ever have if you focus on ugly properties and big checks. Pace, tell me your thoughts.
I agree with all of that. I really love the only 3 exit strategies. I've thought about this, bro. I've sat down for hours and hours and hours, driving, flying, everywhere I go when I have a piece of like silence. I think like, what are all the exit strategies? There are only 3. There are only 3. You either wholesale the deal, you flip the deal, right? You fix and flip it like we do on our TV show or HGTV or whatever, or you hold it for a long-term game, right? Those are only 3 things that you can do with the property. Now, a couple of things I personally disagree with.
Yep.
Is I see a lot of people struggle with offering 50 cents or 66 cents on the dollar when they're first getting started. And then I see people getting their first deal through wholesaling a subject to deal because they're like, I was able to pay full price and outbeat my competition without even having to know that much or be that great of a negotiator.
Yep.
But the challenge with me even saying that goes and proves Brent's point even further. And the point is there are too many ways to succeed in real estate. The hardest part about being successful in real estate is that there are too many ways to be successful in real estate. And most people, I see them all the time. They do this, then they do this, then they spend 2 minutes on this. They don't like that. They are all over the place. And they're doing this and they're, oh my gosh, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that if you do what Brent just told you, you will be successful. 100%.
And then, by the way, Pace, I'm just talking the way that I view this, and a lot of this is coming from this right here, right? This great Gary V new book, right? About patience. And I really believe that if you're starting out your first year in your mental apprenticeship of understanding all the terms and building your network and surrounding yourself with people doing this business and all of that, if you just focus on ugly houses and big checks, one, you can replace your income and go to this business full time. 2, you're going to be very disciplined in finding opportunities. Okay. And 3, then you start building a company that sources, you start turning that into a machine that is feeding you and building and building and building and finding these deals over and over and over. Then when you have that opportunity and that staff and it's running and things are going well and you're getting big checks, then you start getting, whoa, what's going on with this? What's going on with commercial deals? What's going on with development? What's going on with luxury flips? What's going on with Airbnbs? What's going on with all of these things like you and I are into at this point? But I'm just telling you, if you're just getting into this, I think for the first year, you should focus on ugly houses and big checks. I really do. And I think that you're going to win.
Yeah. Lorraine Phelps, great comment, great question in the side chat. Thank you so much. She says, well, what about lease options? Isn't that an exit strategy? So let's break that down for just a second, Lorraine. In order for me to actually, I can only guess what I can do with a lease option. I can wholesale a lease option. Okay. So I can go to a seller, I can get their home under contract with a lease option, and I can wholesale a lease option. Or I can go to the seller, get the house under a lease option contract. I can renovate the property and sell it on the open market, which is flip a lease option.
Yep.
Or I can actually hold that lease option long term. It doesn't matter what the deal is. Sub 2, same thing. Okay. Buying a house creatively, I can either wholesale it, I can flip it, or I can hold it. Those are the only 3 things I can do.
Yep.
Okay. Those are the only 3 things I can do. Even dirt, same thing. Okay. I get a piece of dirt. I can wholesale that dirt to another developer, or I can flip that dirt by renovating or putting a building on it and selling it to the open market. Or B, I can put a building on it and hold that building or hold that dirt indefinitely, right? So again, there's only 3 exit strategies: wholesale the deal, flip the deal, or hold it long term.
That's it. That's how you make money in this business. 3 ways. It just depends on what your strategy is. I just think when you're starting out and you don't have a huge budget, you need to make cash. You need to stack big checks. You need to be able to have a healthy, heavy bank account, and it puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you more control. You are less stressed out and have less anxiety when you have $300,000 sitting in your account. You just do. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you from personal experience of having that, losing it, having it back, the whole thing. I'm telling you, if you focus and you truly want to be a real estate entrepreneur and you want to do the creative and you want to own real wealth, I mean, really build wealth and own real estate in this country where, by the way, there's only certain places in this country. Most of this country, nobody wants to buy. There's only certain spots that people want to buy, and they're always going to want to buy it. So when you buy into those things, it's long-term wealth. It'll always be in demand. But to be able to do that, you start really replace your income so that you can go full time into this and really build a business and scale from there and do amazing things like Jamil and Pace and I have been able to do. And it keeps you away, Joshua, from shiny objects. Absolutely. Ugly
It's the easy button syndrome. Check. Everybody's always looking for the easy button. Okay. And what's so funny is, do you think Elon Musk or any of these big time baller billionaires, do you think they're ever looking for the easy button? No, they're actually looking for the hard button. They're looking for the things that other people are not willing to do and solving problems that other people have never solved before. They're taking on challenges that other people simply don't want to do because that's where the big money is. And it's the same thing with wholesale. Solving other adults' problems that are in foreclosure, divorce, bankruptcy, or whatever is a challenging proposition, but it's also why Brent Daniels' average check size is well over $20,000, $30,000, $40,000.
42, yeah.
$42,000.
42,000 a deal. But guys, I started out at 5,000, then 12,000, then 20, then 40. I mean, the market conditions are have been phenomenal, and the market itself has been phenomenal with hedge funds and with more people wanting to buy cash properties, even if they have to fix them up and live in them. It's not just investors. We find we clean up the communities. Do you guys understand that? Like, we clean up the community. We're the ones knocking on the doors, cold calling, texting after all these properties that are vacant. It's not the realtors. Realtors don't do it. You know that. There's a ton of realtors on here. Go ask any realtor what their training was to go after off-market properties that are vacant. Go ask them. Go see if they've had any training on that. It's none. We do it. We clean up these neighborhoods. You should take great pride in being a real estate entrepreneur, a real estate wholesaler, a real estate investor, because we're going out there and we're solving if there's no problems, we can't solve it. We don't make any money. We get paid on the amount of value we provide to the community, to the marketplace.
So Big Man says, I see people advertising how to wholesale. Do you think that is a good way to start? I feel like this is somebody pranking me by asking this question. Mom, is this mom? Mom, please don't come in my comments and tease me, Mom. Big Man, we answered this earlier. This is actually what this whole entire episode is all about, is getting started in wholesale. Okay. Even with my creative finance students in sub2.com, I tell my students the first thing they should do is wholesale their first several sub2 deals.
I love
it. Get the cash in your pocket. Watch the transaction unfold. You shouldn't be going out and saying, how can I go buy a 4-plex, a 16-plex, a 25-plex? I see all these people doing it, and they're just joining mentorships, right? They're joining mentorships, spending all this money when you could have just spent the money on getting your first couple of checks through wholesaling some real estate, helping sellers out of a bad situation. So I know, big man, I'm just teasing you. The question told me that you showed up late. So go back and rewatch it because Brent really, really hit that pretty hard. Okay.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, guys, there's been some great questions in here. There's been great questions, Pace, about interest rates going up in March. There's been great questions about driving for dollars. That Daniel Radcliffe question is fantastic about driving for dollars in low where the properties are worth 50K. Listen to me. The average around the country is 10% that we earn on these deals. All right. Of the ARV, of the after repaired value, of the fixed up value. When these properties are beautiful, 10% is the average of what we make. Okay. So if you're going around in those 50K neighborhoods, that's fine, but you're going to have to do a lot of deals. All right. I highly suggest you go after properties that are, once they're fixed up, are neighborhoods that sell for 150,000 plus. I really do, because you are going to get bigger checks, bigger opportunities. And I think that is, I'll tell you what, the first time that you guys get a check for $42,000, it's going to break your brain. It's going to break your brain, and I want to break it every single week. I want it broken all the time. I want it to be just like, what is happening? How is this possible? How did I, out of the ether, out of the air, out of using this thing right here, the microphone that was built into this technology, I just made $42,000? Woo! That breaks your brain. I'm telling you. Then all of a sudden you start thinking of 50, 70, $100,000 deals, $1 million deals. But it starts with going after bigger properties. If you want to start out in the 50,000, that's cool. But you need to start going, get some bigger checks.
So I want to just touch on this because there are so many different strategies, right? You'll see people in the comments talking about, I wholesale the lease option. I wholesale to this. I wholesale to that. I did a this. I was on the MLS. I did on market. I got a referral. I got a this. I got a that. When you're brand new, let me tell you, keep it so simple.
Mm-hmm.
We're learning stuff right now. In fact, I just had a conversation right before this with my partners, Cody Barton and Matt Beard, talking about our disposition process and how a lot of our training that we had pre-recorded with our Trainual, we use a company called Trainual.com. You guys, nobody in the audience will ever use this, so don't write down Trainual.com. You'll never use it. We use it for when our employees come on board with us. Instead of us spending 2 weeks training them, they go through and they watch pre-recorded videos on how to do their job. It's on Trainual.com. So I'm sitting there talking about, wow, we need to go back through and re-update all of our training for the disposition job. And the reason being is because things change. The industry changes. COVID basically made it so foreclosures were hard to get for a little bit. And you're learning things all the time. Okay. The number one thing you need to focus on is one activity. Go out and find a wholesale deal. Go out and find a wholesale deal.
Yep.
By finding people with pain. So foreclosure, they work right now. Stop trying to learn every single strategy. Stop trying to learn everything. Get your hands on a transaction. Get your hands on a transaction. Get yourself involved in a deal. And the way you can do that. Now, I don't want to sidetrack, and I'm not going to. So I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of people that are afraid to call sellers. There are a lot of people that are afraid to text sellers. There are a tremendous amount of people afraid to door knock and go after sellers that way. They'll just drive around neighborhoods. They'll use batch driven till the day they die, but they'll never actually reach out to sellers. Why is that, Brent? And how can I overcome that fear? Is there a script? Is there a process? Is there training? What is there?
Yeah. First of all, let's give it up for Eric here. 40K deal. Congratulations, Eric. That's incredible. There you go, buddy. That is phenomenal. The reason, Pace, is we're not used to it. We don't have reps talking to strangers about real estate. We don't. That's why we're scared. We're scared because we think that we're going to say the wrong thing, or we're going to get rejected, or somebody's going to get mad at me, or I'm going to interrupt their day. Yes. Yes, you will. And yes, you will have to talk to personally. You're going to have to talk to 199 people that will tell you some of the most awful things, not terrible, but they will reject you. 199 people out of 200, but you will do a deal. If you talk to 200 people, you should do one deal unless you totally screw it up. If you talk to 200 people, you will do a deal. That's just the numbers, guys. I mean, listen, we've been doing this a long time. I've been tracking people for a long time. I've had a coaching program for the last 5 years that taught people how to pick up the phone and communicate effectively with property owners. Okay. I understand that if you talk to 200 people, you will get a deal. Now, are you willing to have thick enough skin? Are you willing to put your goals in front? Are you willing to put your ambitions in front of your fear of rejection? That's the question you need to answer. That's it.
I had this guy DM me yesterday. I don't know if you saw this on my Instagram stories, but I had this guy DM me and he says, "Why should I join your mentorship program?" And I said, if that's your immediate thought, please don't.
Shouldn't. Yep.
First ever don't. Like, don't, please. And he goes, "Well, who should I join?" I go, "Astro Flipping," right? I just deflect over to Astro Flipping because that's Jamil's and I'm always supporting Jamil. And he goes, "Okay, why Astro?" I'm like, "Okay, classic overthinker already. So here's what I think you should do. I'm going to give you a game plan. Stay on YouTube for 3 years. Just consume content for 3 years. Then on year 4, read a book or 2 about real estate. Then on year 5, go to a seminar, maybe spend like $97 going to those like really cheap seminars that are just like trying to sell you on something.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you've got outside of your house at that point. Then by year 6, maybe go and link in with some other investors and become friends. And maybe on year 7, join a mentorship and get plugged in." He's like, "Why so long?" I said, "Because your biggest fear right now is your fear of failure."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My fear is my fear of not reaching my biggest potential. And so until your fear flip-flops, you're never going to take action. Your fear of failure, your fear of rejection, all that kind of stuff, you just go spend 7 years not taking any action. And then you'll wake up one day and you'll go, "Wow, I spent 7 years of my life not actually taking any action." And that typically, for the over analytical type, that typically is what is required to smack them into action. So guys, either A, get a friend in the side comments, people that are doing deals. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in the comments right now that are willing to become your friends. Squad up, as we call it. Come back to Wholesale Hotline every single week. Network with people. Be around people that are doing deals. Don't be the over analytical type that takes 7 years to wake up and finally your fear of not being successful outweighs your fear of being successful. And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes people to waste 7-10 years of their life sitting on YouTube just consuming content before they actually take any action. Whenever somebody tells me I'm struggling in my business, I already know what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're not having any conversations with sellers. They're just in analysis paralysis mode. They're just reading books, watching videos, but they are not actually making phone calls to motivated sellers.
Love it.
That's it.
Well, and I think you hit it right on the head. And I don't know if everybody realizes this, but let me tell all these young men out there a fact. The women choose you. Women choose the men. Okay, that's just how it works. And I think it's the same with students and coaches. The students pick the coach. That's it. If there's convincing, if there's, tell me what it's going to do and can you guarantee this and that and all these other things, it's not the right fit. So if you're looking for somebody and you want coaching, if you're a type of person that wants coaching, take it serious. Who do you resonate with? And then go with it. Don't overthink it. Just go with it. It's going to cut 5-7 years off of your timeline. So there you go.
Yeah. So Kay Gordon, I really appreciate this comment. Thank you so much. She says, "Ever think he really doesn't know and just needs support?" No, I used to think that, but I've been doing this long enough to know that he just has a fear that I'm not going to overcome in an Instagram DM. That's it. So I'm waiting to address it now in a video comment to hopefully help you, because I couldn't do it through an Instagram DM. Hopefully that makes sense why I gave him a shorter answer. He might just, he wanted to hear from someone like you, which I did. I talked back and forth with him. I answer all my DMs like I always do. There's other people out there influencing and on YouTube that don't ever answer their DMs. I answered all of my DMs. And I did answer him. And he finally said, oh my gosh, so what should I do? And I go, join a free Facebook group and make a friend. Make a friend, squat up with somebody. If you're that fearful, which is perfectly fine, we all have fear of something. Okay. Mine is fear of success. I'm fearful that I will get that. The pretty girl will say yes to me. I'm afraid of that. Okay. I have to overcome those mindset issues just like everybody else has to overcome their mindset issues as well. But we can't do it on our own, Kay. So the advice I gave him was go join a free Facebook group and make a friend with somebody who is actively doing this business and get around that energy. Okay. And one of the best places to do that is my Facebook group. Jamil has a Facebook group. Wholesale Hotline has a Facebook group. There's so many free Facebook groups. But guess what else? I can't force you to get on the phone with somebody in that free Facebook group. You still have to take action. You still have to take action. That's all there is to it. Al Edmondson says, according to Brent, if we only use the trial they offer and we only have to make 29 calls a day, we will get a deal. Super KPI. Awesome.
Not calls, conversations, not calls, conversations. There is a big difference. Conversation with the actual owner, and you're going to get about a 7 to 10% contact rate. So you need to make 300 calls to talk to 29 people. Okay. There's a big difference there. And somebody put in, well, I'll just hire a VA. Do it, but it's not going to work. I'm just telling you, if you do not put in the work, if you do not build the skill of talking to strangers about real estate, it's going to be very difficult for you to build a strong business. I am telling you right now, if you skip that part, if you don't talk to at least 1,000 property owners yourself, there's going to be bigger, stronger, faster, more proven, more experienced investors that are going to beat you to deals.
Yeah. So Dominique says, hosting a watching party in my living room right now. Can you throw this comment up on to show the love for our group? Absolutely. So a couple of things I want to point out to you guys. If you're brand new, good to see you in here, Rob Robbins. If you're brand new and you're fearful of spending money, you're fearful of going out and calling sellers and losing money or something like that. I hear that a lot. A lot of people are like, my wife doesn't want me to lose money spending our family's money on lead generation. I'm like, okay. Have you ever thought about maybe working for another wholesaler? Working for another real estate investment company?
Love it.
Guys, I get a lot of people, legit. I have people that will join my mentorship just to link in with my students and work for them. I have a student named Munif. He got second place in the Closers Olympics recently. Munif started hiring other students who were saying, I just want to plug in. We have a student that is a full-time nurse. They have a full-time job. And they go, I'm not ready to run my full-time business, but I want to get reps in. I want to be on the phone and I want to be able to be involved in other people's transactions. Boom, gets his first deal in 2 weeks, working for somebody else.
Yep.
So guys, working for somebody else, that's why sometimes you squat up with other people. You squat up with other people so that when it comes time to raise money, you got partners. When you need somebody to sell a deal for you, you got partners. When you need somebody to plug into and you need to work for somebody, you got partners. There's a major reason why we do this live. We want you guys to actually communicate and squat up with each other.
I love it. You know, listen, and I think that, you know, if you do join somebody else and you do want to learn it, provide as much value to that company as possible. Even if you feel like you're not getting your fair share, they give you 10% of the deal or whatever else, and you see these big deals and you're like, oh, well, I need to get more of that, and you quit after 6 months. I think it's a big mistake. I think stay in the saddle at least a year. If you're going to commit to working with somebody, at least a year, if not 2. I mean, I say this all the time, and it's real, and I'm serious. The place that I get my hair cut, the apprentices there that hope to make 75 grand a year cutting hair have to sweep hair, wash dirty heads, clean all the stations for 2 years before they're allowed to cut anybody's hair professionally. I mean, they have to do all their training and everything else, but 2 years, and people love it. People can't get it. There's a line. They've got a waiting list for this place. And we're talking about making 10 times that amount. Woo! We're talking about making more than surgeons, attorneys, CEOs of major corporations. You can make more than that, and you just want it in the next 30 days. Come on, put in the work, build the skills, discipline.
It was
build the
interesting.
pride
Monique
in your
Walker,
work.
on Monique Walker's episode, she said the same thing, right? Like
Yeah.
Monique Walker making 7 figures or more per year. 7 figures, not 6.
Mm-mm.
Guys,
Eddie
7
knows.
figures
Eddie
is the new
Charger.
6 figures. Let's freaking go.
Yep.
Okay. She's sitting there working 4 hours a day, but it took her years for her to get there. You guys have to understand, this business is truly a business that you can make as much money as an NBA player.
Yep.
It is crazy what you can make in this business. All right.
Yep. Well, not only that, Pace, but listen, this is a game that you could play until you're 80, 90, whatever it is. I mean, you could have true generational wealth.
Dude, my 14-year-old son is getting his first rental in 2 weeks. We're going to have his first rental.
I love it. I love it. How is he getting that rental?
Crazy. Him and I have a little side business. So he got his first not his first sub-2 deal. He got his first wholesale deal about 2 months ago when I was teaching him how to do it on live. Okay.
14 years old.
He was 13 at the time.
13 years old.
Got his first wholesale deal, got a second wholesale deal, has enough money to pay a down payment on a sub-2 deal. And he's buying a deal in West Valley that we're going to turn into an Airbnb.
Love it.
So he's not old enough to hold that in his own LLC. So we're putting it into a family trust, and he'll have his own Airbnb. My son, by the time he's 14, will probably have $25,000 a month in residual income before he even graduates high school, every single month. Okay. But he got it by wholesaling his first couple of deals. That's how he got the cash. And him and I have another side business where we rent out a trailer for like $150 a day. It's kind of a cool little business. I never talk about it, but guys, I want to say this before we wrap up and people start tuning out. Number one, thank you so much. We had 550 live viewers on all of our YouTube channels today. 550. We've got 540 of them sticking tight with us right now. And I want to thank you guys so much. Number two, on Saturday, Jamil Damji, myself, Jerry Norton are going to be flying up to Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah, and we're going to be having a panel in Salt Lake City where we're going to do a meetup. Okay. So if you guys are in Utah, you're in Colorado, you're anywhere near Utah, you're in Vegas, you're in St. George, please converge on. We're going to be meeting at Prime Corporate Services on Saturday at 5 p.m. Here's the link to Prime Corporate Services website. This is who does all of our LLCs. This is who does all of our corporate structures. We're going to be doing a meetup with them on Saturday. Jerry Norton's there, Colton Lindsay. We've got Carlos Reyes, Jamil Damji, and myself. We're going to be doing a real estate meetup for a couple of hours. We want to meet and greet and get everybody in there to get to know each other and squad up so that Utah market is more and more solidified.
Guys, get out there. If you're even close, fly in, drive in, whatever. TTPers that are in Utah, you better be there. Check that out Saturday. I would be there. I'm hosting a 40-year-old 40th birthday party, but was invited, would have loved to, but that's going to be awesome. That's going to be really, really, really amazing. Anything else? Okay, good. So any other questions, guys, before we've got 5 minutes left, the 3 steps. Let me just review it real quick, Pace. Let me hit this real quick.
Yeah, please.
Number 1, lead generation, marketing, referrals, or prospecting. There's your options. Marketing, referrals, or prospecting. What are you going to do? Do you have a budget for marketing? No. Do you have a bunch of people sending you deals? No. Oh, you gotta pick up the phone and be proactive. Come on, homie. You got to pick it up. You got to get after. You got to push down that fear of rejection and put on your little blanket of courage and get out there and start talking to people. Okay. Number 2, conversion, pre-qualify, condition of the property, timeline to sell, motivation, price, lead follow-up. Here's the secret to lead follow-up. Just do it. Nike swoosh. Boom. Just do it. Just do it until they tell you to stop doing it. And number 3 is offer presentation, certainty and likability. Stand tall, have posture, right? All right. And number 3 is exit strategy. Wholesale it, you assign it, get those big fat checks. Flip it, also big fat checks. Hold it, long-term wealth, right? There's your exit strategies. Assign it, flip it, hold it. That is real estate investing in 3 steps. Guys, don't overcomplicate this. Don't overcomplicate this. People are complicated enough. The emotions that you're going to deal with are going to be complicated enough. The process to get it from start to finish, a lead to income, to money in your account, to that wire that the bank, boom, hits your account, and all of a sudden you got $33,500 more in your account. That's the simple part. The tough part is the working with the people, working with the emotions, going through that. Keep the business simple. Focus on your ability to be versatile with different personality types that you're going to be dealing with, and you will be absolutely unstoppable as long as you talk to enough people. That's it. It's a numbers game.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If today I learned what wholesaling real estate is and the 3 steps of real estate wholesaling, what should I learn next week? What's the topic I should learn? Should it be pulling a list? Should it be what are the top 10 lists? Where to find those 10 lists? How to make my first cold call? Like what should be the next thing I should learn?
I think, listen, let's leave it up to the audience. I mean, to me, everything starts with building a pipeline of leads. If there's not enough leads, if there's not enough, oil in that engine, coal in that engine, whatever you want to call it, if there's not enough leads to go in there, there's not enough fuel. There we go. There's the word I was looking for. Fuel in that lead generation. You're going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. So I think next would be, well, we've got comping. That's interesting, but how do you comp if you don't have leads? So
I agree with that. Jamil, everybody, all 3 of us have different opinions because it's our specialty.
Yep.
And Jamil is always going to say, well, you got to learn the value of the property before you ever call a seller. And I say, why not? I don't know. I feel like you got to have leads. You got to have motivated sellers that you actually have a conversation with before comping even makes any sense for you. In fact, the first probably 15 deals I did, I didn't know how to comp.
Yeah. Yeah.
I let my buyers tell me the price.
Yep.
So there's a million
different
ways to be successful.
Keegley, right? Pace, you got Keegley out in most markets that literally you just reach out to anybody there and they'll give you a buy price. So there's your comping, right? If you really need it, or a coach or a mentor or somebody that's doing it or a real estate agent, but there's nothing to comp if you don't have an opportunity. If you don't know the condition, timeline, motivation, and price on a property that's in distress, and are they ready to go? Right. I see a lot of people, even in my coaching, in TTP coaching program, that send me properties because I'll help them comp any properties that they come across to make sure they have the right price. And it's like, okay, what's the motivation and what's the price they want? Well, I haven't talked to them yet. Well, go talk to them. You got to talk to them first. You can't just be putting in all the work and not get paid for it. So. Awesome.
I think we get a lot of these conversations, and I feel like I almost want to feel like we should talk about the software or the leads where are they coming from?
I think we should pull both. I think we should do a prop stream and a batch leads and see what people think. Let's take it down. We'll break that down and pull some lists next week on the show.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? It's people think it's an either or. So Brent, where have you always bought groceries from? Like without any deviation, where have you bought groceries from?
AJ's.
Always AJ's? You never go to Bash's or ever go to Albertsons or Smith's, Walmart, Target?
Safeway.
Okay, so you go to both.
Yeah.
So are there things at Safeway that AJ's doesn't have? And does AJ have things?
For
I already
sure.
know that.
For
Most
sure.
people don't have AJ's.
Right. No,
But
AJ's is like the fancy. It's
Bro,
like
they're the
Sprouts or
fine
Whole Foods.
purveyor of food.
Yeah.
Okay. They have specialty items that you can't get anywhere else.
Yep.
So the fact is, guys, there's things about batch leads and there's things about PropStream that are both amazing things. It's like trying to choose one grocery store.
Yep.
There are brands of milk, brands of cereal, brands of this, brands of that, or even items at AJ's you can't get anywhere else, right? Meats, types of mustard. No joke. Literally, we went to AJ's the other day just to get a specific type of mustard.
Oh, they have the best. Yeah.
We don't choose one grocery store. It's the same thing when we're getting leads. We don't choose one place to get leads. We find the best place to get specific types of lists, and we use all of them.
That's it.
Okay,
we'll
so
go
next
through
week,
that next week, guys. Yep.
All right, next week, what should we do? Top 5 lists and where to pull them from.
Love it. Top 5 lists and where to pull it from next week, guys. If you guys have, if this is your first experience here, obviously we have it on Pace's YouTube channel. We've got it on my YouTube channel. We got it on Jamil's YouTube channel. We also have it if you just want to listen through Spotify or iTunes at Wholesale Hotline. Now it's just got the last 98 episodes that are 90 minutes each, but we're going to be doing shorter, like to the point podcasts coming up. So make sure that you guys do not sleep on this. Be the first one to get in there and get the most out of these, out of this instruction. All right. Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much. We will see you next week on Wholesale Hotline. We will end up having, I'm going to tell you right now, we've got Jerry Norton coming up on an upcoming episode of Wholesale Hotline.
Yep.
We're going to be talking about wholesale regulations, what the industry is going to be looking like in the next couple of years. It's going to be a fun couple of hour and a half with Jerry Norton, one of the OG, amazing people. Still somebody I look up to. I follow this dude, chase this dude, personal friends with this dude. He is unbelievable and epic. We're going to have him on as a guest here in a couple of weeks. But next week, we are going to be talking about the top 5 lists and where to get those lists. But we're not going to just tell you. We're going to show you. And maybe Jamil, Brent, and myself will do it all from the TTP offices so we can have a big full screen.
Let's do it.
Get all of us together, and we'll show you guys how that all works. We'll see you on next week's episode, number 99 of Wholesale Hotline.
Guys, if for any reason you didn't get your answer, I went through a lot here. If you didn't get your question answered, please join me Wednesday, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. We go for 2 hours. All right. If you have any questions about building your portfolio, about creative financing, about sub 2, about wholesale, whatever it is, Sunday service with Pace Morby on Sunday, right? On the Pace Morby YouTube channel. Check it out. What time, Pace?
7 p.m. every single week to last
Mountain
2.5 years.
Standard Time, 7 p.m., right?
Yes, sir.
All right. We love you guys. You guys are the absolute best. Hit us up with the DMs. Take a picture. Share it with us. We love that. We get excited about that. And I will see you guys Wednesday, 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. Pace.
Peace out.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.